Hi there, this is Clovis from Kinematic Lab. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the circle stripe object. So I open the UI Toolkit interface, I go to the stripe category and I left click on the stripe circle button. So then I click and drag in the viewport, okay, and you see that it changes the size of the circle. Now if I release the mouse button and continue to drag, you change the inner circle. So if I left click now, it stops the creation and you can continue to make other stripe circles. Okay, and I right click to stop creation of the objects. So delete these objects and show you the parameters. So first of all, in here you have a cap option, so if you check it, it will just fill this hole, and the percentage value changes the size of it. Okay, so let's remove this. The global radius changes the global radius of this stripe. Okay, the inner radius changes the inner circle here, and the outer just the outer circle. So this global radius changes everything on top. You can keep it at 100 basically. Now the subdivs here are the number of divisions of the circle. Okay, so it's basically the number of substripes. So you can see now that with the chamfer value you can chamfer them separately, and with the separate value here from 0 to 100 you can really detach and separate them. So this separation is done from the center or from the left side or the right side. Okay. Now you have the random radius. So if I change this value, for the moment nothing changes, but if I check this in option here, you see that it changes the inner circle per substripe. Okay, you can change the outer radius and both of them. You can add more subdivisions to see a better result. And with the seed button here, just generate other random values. Okay, let's remove this for the moment. Now the grow options. So with the percentage here from 0 to 100, you make the stripe grow. So every substripe actually really slides. Okay, you can see them. We can reverse this order. Okay, and you also can make it grow step by step, so substripe per substripe. Instead of having them slide like that, they will appear in sequence. So I check this option and now they don't slide, but they really pops out. Okay, and you can reverse it as well. Fine. So you can rotate this stripe, you can make it slide. So for the moment it doesn't change anything, but if you apply random values like that, you can make these values slide. So the slide is not a rotation. The rotation, you can really see them rotate again. It's like in the percentage. You can really see it rotate, but the slide doesn't rotate. The substripe just changes their radius one by one. And you can also have a random delete option, okay, from 0 to 100. 100 is nothing at the end, okay, and you can slide this as well as the, you know, as the random values. Fine. Now let's talk about the time offsets. We talked about it in the stripe object. So it does change it does offset the animation of some of these values, okay, substripe per substripe. So if I change, for example, the inner circle value, if I animate it, like that, okay, and I change the time offset, you see that now it makes this animation go from the first substripe to the last substripe. So if you add a controller on this inner radius value here, if I add a noise controller, for example, and play it, okay, if I put the time offset to 0, it's all together, and when I start to change it, you see this happening, okay. So if you add a random radius on top, makes an even better result. And this time offset influences a lot of these parameters. So if I just remove this animation, remove this as well, decrease this, and we will try to animate the separate value. So I will add a noise as well. It changes the separate substripe per substripe, and you can sort of see them grow. You can make a lot of different effects with that. And combine it with other controllers. Yeah. So you can do a lot of different things. Okay, let's remove some of these controllers. Okay, there's something static. Now here you have a copies sub-rollout, so you can just, with this count option here and the radius offset, make some copies of this stripe. And everything you do on the first stripe is going to be done on the copies as well. So if you animate, I will add again a noise controller here. you see that everything you do is done on the other substripes. But you can say that the random offset is going to be done by copies, okay? And if you uncheck this, it's going to be done substripe per substripe. So copies per copies or substripe per substripe. So it makes really different results. And you can add some random rotations between them, so you can have really something different on each copy. And with the seed button you generate random rotations again. So the good thing with the random rotation is that it also changes the direction of this rotation value. So if you animate this, you can have some sort of intricate circles. Okay, if you make them slide. If you have something here. It's hard to see, but now it's better. They also follow this same direction. Okay. Now, about the end objects. So first of all, I have to pick an external mesh. So I will create a little mesh for that. I'll make an arrow object like that. Okay, simply. Okay, and I will pick this object with this pink end object. And now I have to choose if it's gonna be at the inner circle or the outer circle. So if I check in here, this is the offset value, and you can change the size of the object right here. So I will make less divisions. Okay, and I will rotate this so it has better orientation. Okay, now it's perfect. So you see that this end object is now sort of duplicated on each end here, and it sticks to these ends, so it makes a very nice effect, because every time something moves here, it moves with it. And you can have it on the out here as well. So you can have some very nice results. Now about the materials, each object in the UI toolkit has some material IDs already set. So I prepared some materials here. Okay. So if I apply this one, for example, what do we see? You see that I have the stripes with an ID, the end objects with an ID, but the end objects are black simply because the first ID is 1 and 1 is set for the inner, the cap, for the cap section here. So this is 1, okay, the stripes are 2, and if I add another material for the end object, is going to be 3. Okay. Now this inner circle here, this the cap object, can have multiple ideas. Okay, let's say I want it to have 3 ideas. I will apply this material for a better understanding. So let's say 7 ideas like that. It will take sequentially 7 different ideas and make them loop, okay, in a sequence. So if I have less subdivisions, it will be easier to see. And with this slide option, you can animate it and make it slide, okay. You can also apply some vertex colors to it. So if you check this fade option and toggle the vertex color here, you can see that it has some vertex colors here from black to white. And if I apply a material with a mix map inside, okay, you can blend between these 2 colors with a vertex color map in the mix amount channel here. So if I apply it and render it, you see that in this part it goes from pink to green. Okay. Now you have the exact same options for the stripes. So if I apply again this material and say I will have like 6 submaterials. So in this shader I have the first one, which is a white material on this cap here, and then it goes, the 6 next ones are going to be looped along the substripes, and I can add another one for the end objects. So it's the next one is going for the next object. So 1 for the cap, the 6 next ones for the substripes, and the last one for the end objects. But you can have multiple for the cap ideas and multiple for the stripes. So let's say I want to have 3 different ideas for the cap here. So 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be these 3 shaders here. And then the next ones are going to be looped along the substripes. So in this shader I only have 4 of them left. Okay, so I'll just say 4, but you can add as many as you want. Okay. And you can make them slide also, and fade as well, okay, like with the cap ideas. And that's it. See you in the next videos. Cheers.